Hello and welcome to Conversations. I'm Robin Torres, your host. The YWCA of Greater Kansas City has served Wyandotte County since its establishment in 1901. As part of its mission, the YWCA is committed to the elimination of racism and the creation of opportunities for girls and women's growth, leadership, and healthy lifestyles, and much more. In 2001, the YWCA of Kansas City, Kansas became the YWCA of Greater Kansas City. The YWCA knew it must strengthen its base in Kansas City, Kansas, and increase its capacity through additional programming and renovated and expanded facility. Today we have with us Executive Director Lisa Rockley, Girls Program Director Jennifer Smith, and Why Women Can Program Director Chris Siebenlist. Joining us now is Lisa Rockley. We will talk with Jennifer and Chris a little later in the show. Thank you, Lisa, for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Okay, tell us about a little bit about you and how you became the Executive Director.
I've been with the organization since September of 2009, so a little over a year.
Okay.
I've been in the community for a few years, and formerly I was the Executive Director for Downtown Manhattan Incorporated, and I was in Manhattan, Kansas for 5 years.
Okay.
That's primarily economic development, historic preservation,
Okay.
and we have some income generating businesses within the YWCA in addition to our nonprofit structure. And it was just a really good fit for me in the community.
Okay, tell us about the YWCA and its origin. Give us a little background about the YWCA.
Well, the YWCA is actually a national organization, and we have over 300 local associations throughout the nation. We also are, and I'm not for sure if you know this, but we are the world's oldest multicultural, the nation's largest multicultural organization, oldest multicultural organization.
Okay.
In the nation.
Wow, wow. In 2001, tell us what happened with the YWCA of Kansas City, Kansas. And
we had two separate branches.
Mm-hmm.
One was in Missouri, obviously, and one was in the state of Kansas. The Missouri branch closed, and at that time, our board of directors and our stakeholders had to make a decision if this was the appropriate time to become the Greater Kansas City YWCA, and it worked out that it was. And since 2001, we've been the Greater Kansas City YWCA for the community.
And how has that impacted your local facility where you are?
We've changed tremendously. Like I spoke about a little bit earlier, we have that income generating component. And so we have a cafe and a bistro and an event space and some catering, and opening our doors to the community at large, and getting into Kansas City, Missouri was very, very beneficial for us and the community.
And they've been very welcoming and inviting.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good. Give us a breakdown of the organization's structure.
The way that we operate, as the executive director, I have a board of directors that I report to.
Okay.
We have a program director, and that's Jennifer Smith. We have a women's coordinator, that's Chris Siebenlist. And then that's our nonprofit structure. The for-profit structure then speaks to our baristas and our food and beverage director and our event staff and our catering staff. We actually have an executive chef on staff as well. So we have a nonprofit structure, we have a for-profit structure, and those two work together for the benefit of the community.
Okay. You spoke a little bit earlier about your board of directors and the composition of that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Our current chair is Deborah Craig,
Okay.
and Deborah's been with the organization for several years. We have 17 board members, all with different backgrounds in Kansas City and in Kansas and Missouri. And that board has been our leadership for over 100 years. Obviously not the current board members that are sitting with us, but for over 100 years we've been led by that board.
No man on the board?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Not at this time. There are opportunities, but we've not explored those opportunities, and that's something that we look forward to in the future.
Okay. And give us a little breakdown of the programs. I know you spoke about Chris and both Jennifer. Are there any other programs that you have?
At this time, it's really split up with our girls programming and our women's programming. And Jennifer Smith heads up our girls programming. We are in several Kansas City school districts, and we do have some work that we're completing in Kansas City, Missouri. And then we have a non-traditional career component that Chris Siebenlist has been doing great work with, and that's an opportunity to get women to become more involved in the non-traditional careers. Okay. And Chris will be the authority to speak on that later.
Well, can't wait to talk to her. I wanted to ask about the Hearts of Gold luncheon you guys used to host, and it was a wonderful opportunity for women to be recognized for their contributions to the community. Are you going to bring that back?
You know, I've had that phone call more than once.
Okay.
I will tell you that without making a full commitment, that we are absolutely looking at it, and that we have room for 2011 to have a special event. It's in our books.
Okay.
And at this point, it looks like it will be Hearts of Gold.
Okay.
But I'm not making 100% commitment to that yet.
Okay.
I will tell you, it was very popular. We have many stakeholders in our organization that have volunteered, that have assisted in funding us, and they've come from that program. It was very successful, and we really would like to have it back. We just have to make sure logistically it's the right thing for us to do.
Okay. Was there a reason that it stopped? Can you speak on that?
I don't know the answer.
Okay.
To be honest with you, it's just one of those events that we had in '08, I believe, and just did not have an '09, and are looking forward to bringing it back.
Okay. Any volunteer opportunities out there for the community to get involved?
Well, it's really interesting. We have quite a few internships that will come through our doors, through Crystal Ray, through some other organizations. And so we have a lot of young women that will come in and volunteer their time, either through school or just to volunteer. There's always opportunities, and if anybody is interested, they're more than welcome to go to our website. It's ywca.org/Kansas City,
okay.
and they can find our contact information and get a hold of us there. I know the programming ladies bring in volunteers, several volunteers on an annual basis, and would be more than willing and welcoming to anybody that would be interested in making a contact to talk to them about it.
Any youth volunteer programs?
The youth volunteer programs are structured within the programs that we currently serve.
Okay.
So Jennifer and Chris have programs that they're looking at and that they are executing this year that have volunteers in them.
Okay.
I would have to assume that we are nearly at capacity because it is November, but as programs start to begin again this next year, there's always that opportunity.
Okay. Well, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us. And we'll be joined with Chris Siebenlist and Jennifer Smith in just a moment.
Travel advisories to small business loans, student loans to taxes online. Whether you have information to get or ideas to give, USA.gov is the official place to connect with your government. From surplus car auctions to finding a new job, our new mobile apps will keep you updated on the go. So check out USA.gov, because the country runs better when we stay connected.
Welcome back to Conversations. We're joined now with Chris Siebenlist and Jennifer Smith of the women's programs and the girls programs at the YWCA. Chris, I'll start with you with the Why Women Can program.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that program.
Well, Why Women Can comes under the YWCA mission of economic empowerment of women, and what better way to empower them than economically. We introduce girls and women to non-traditional and green careers, and then try to help them get in contact with the resources, the businesses, training, whatever they need to reach their career goals.
Okay, and who is eligible to participate in your program?
Well, any women in the Kansas City area. That's a nice thing. There really aren't any limitations. In fact, we have women coming to us from all over the metropolitan area and beyond. If you can get to us, we'll work with you. But basically, we're aimed at women who are unemployed or underemployed or looking to make a career change. We also have an element that works with girls, middle school and high school girls.
Okay. What are some examples of non-traditional careers?
Well, that's a good question. The U.S. Department of Labor describes non-traditional careers as any career area that has fewer than 25% women in it. And you would think that today in 2010 there would be a small list, but actually if you go to their website you can print off 3 pages of non-traditional careers for women. Some of them that we typically think of are like construction jobs, plumbers, electricians, but also firefighters, police officers, computer programmers, and repair people, as well as even dentists. Dentists are only like 23% women.
Okay. You have, before I answer this other question, why should women be interested in non-traditional careers?
Well, because historically, the jobs that the men have gone for have paid better, and that's still true today. Unfortunately, women are still falling behind in their earning power worldwide and here in this country. So obviously the number one reason is to become economically empowered, you need a job that's going to pay well. But there also, in these jobs, tend to be more benefits, chances for advancement, and even, you know, these women, all women aren't the same. All women don't want to be teachers and social workers and child care workers. Sometimes these non-traditional jobs appeal more to their skills and interests.
Okay. Give us some examples of what are green careers?
Well, green careers, you know, you can find any number of definitions of a green career. But broadly speaking, a green career is any career area that helps the environment, whether it's through sustainability, recycling, alternative energies. And green careers can be some that are new and emerging, like the wind turbines and solar voltaic kinds of stuff. But also traditional careers like construction and many others have greened up what they do, either in their materials or in the way they approach things. So these workers have to green their skills also.
Okay. And what kind of funding is available for going into a green career or job?
Well, as far as looking at training opportunities, there is some funding available through the Full Employment Council if you're on the Missouri side, or with Workforce Partnership on the Kansas side, and these are called WIA funds, Workforce Investment Act funds. Okay. Unfortunately, they're not as available now as they were last year with the stimulus monies, but there are some still available. Also, they have OJT, or on-the-job training, some possibilities available there.
Where would women go for training in this field?
Actually, there's nice that here in the Kansas area we have a variety of options. We have apprenticeship programs like in the construction trades. We have the community colleges like Kansas City, Kansas Community College, and the other 2 major community college systems. And we also have some private sector training, including training for weatherization and energy auditors, as well as environmental remediation. And the environmental remediation program has its own funding too, so that's a bonus.
These women that come in searching for opportunities such as this, are they surprised when they see the listing of the opportunities out there for the green jobs or non-traditional?
Yes, they are, and it's really interesting because we often, you know, what we say to women is, you know, this is not something maybe you've heard of before. Try to picture yourself in a non-traditional career. Open up your opportunities and see if any of these things will work for you, because not every job is for every person, obviously. But it's really rewarding when, after I've had a green workshop, I have women come up and say, I'm leaving here with hope. I came here with no hope, and for the first time in months I have hope that there might be something for me out there. So, so it is very rewarding.
I know I've never seen women or a woman in a construction job or as a plumber.
Right.
So those things are interesting.
We need that's what we try to do to help women picture themselves. That we give them women mentors who are in those fields, and if they see them and hear their stories, then they think, well, maybe I could do that too.
Right. Okay. And how would the community and women out there find out more about the Why Women Can program and contact you?
Well, they can contact the YWCA at 913-371-1105, or they can email me at whywomencan@mind, M-I-N-D, spring, S-P-R-I-N-G.com.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Now to Jennifer with the girls programs.
Good morning,
and you
Robin.
have a lot of programs there for the young ladies out in the community.
We do.
So tell us about, give us a rundown of the goals of the program that you have.
We have two overarching goals with our girls and youth programming at the YWCA, and they really stem from our mission of eliminating racism and empowering women. And within our Kansas City community, we have decided that healthy lifestyles and social development are the two most important components for us to be providing to girls and young women so that they can attain their fullest potential.
Okay. So give us a synopsis or a brief summary of the breakdown of the programs. I know you mentioned the two components.
We have a variety of programs that are provided in different settings depending on the needs of the communities that we are working with. We work primarily in school settings, and we've also started to partner in community-based locations such as housing residences and things like that. We'll go in and work with some of the adults on site to try to understand what the needs are of the youth that are in their community, in their school or housing location, and we can provide an array of programming based on those needs. We have three programs that really focus on cultivating healthy lifestyles, especially with a focus on urban youth. The Girl Power program focuses on physical activity, nutrition, developing strong self-esteem and good communication skills so that girls can carry those healthy lifestyles forward. We have two sexuality-based programs. The Healthy Relationships program is offered to a middle school aged clientele, and it really focuses on understanding life goals and where adult relationships might fall into their life goals, cultivating communication skills. And then at a high school level, we provide the Health Bridge program, which really cultivates the ability to have healthy relationships as the youth move forward into their adulthood.
Okay, so with the healthy, well, let's start with the Girl Power.
Sure.
What kind of activities do they get involved in? I know you said physical activity, and is that healthy eating as well?
Absolutely. The Girl Power program is primarily provided in an after-school setting, so it's a really fun and dynamic environment. We always take part in some kind of physical activity, and we try to provide activities that expand our youth's concept of what being active might be. So providing them opportunities that might be outside of what they're experiencing PE. So we have yoga and gardening. We've had people come in and provide self-defense workshops. We've done neighborhood cleanups. So providing opportunities for girls to hopefully identify physical activities that they really enjoy.
Okay, and then the healthy eating?
And healthy eating, we also provide several nutrition workshops throughout the course of the program, as well as the opportunity to learn how to cook. And we've provided some really fun cooking opportunities for our girls by partnering with our chef on site at the YWCA.
Okay. Now, on the healthy relationships, you said that was the middle school program?
That's correct.
Okay. And what would that program entail?
Typically, a school has invited us to come in to work with their girls through the outlet of their PE class. And so we'll come in and provide a comprehensive sexuality education, talking about issues like life planning, abstinence, puberty and hygiene, issues that are really valuable for young girls to take into their adulthood.
Okay. And the Health Bridge, you said, was high school?
Yes,
level?
high school program. We really focus with communication skills at the high school level, and we also are able to provide the program in a co-ed environment. So we're encouraging the youth to have the opportunity to interact with and experience opinions from another gender as well, so including men in our program.
Okay. Now, on the social development side, you have the Lunch Bunch.
Lunch Bunch is a really fun program. I get to go out to schools a couple days a week and sit in a small group setting with a few individuals who've been selected by the school as maybe needing to have a little extra support in their life. So we'll get together and we'll do fun activities that allow the girls to have a place to kind of process some of the things that are going on in their life. It functions a little bit more like a group therapy session.
Okay. So they share with you what's going on personally or in school?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The topics are really quite open with the Lunch Bunch program. Oftentimes we're working with issues of bullying or cliques within schools, helping girls really process some of the dynamics of being young and growing and learning how to deal with some of the challenges they have in their lives.
Okay, and the schools that you go in, Wyandotte County, Missouri schools as well?
Yes.
Okay. Johnson County?
At this point, we don't have programming in Johnson County schools. We have much more interest in the girls' programming than we do have ability to reach all of those program locations. So we continue to partner and find new and creative ways to reach out to communities. In the last year, we were invited to start working with the Kansas City, Missouri Alternative Schools, providing some of our sexuality programs. So we've started to reach out to groups and communities that we haven't been able to reach in the past.
Okay. I'm going to ask you about Girl Power Fridays.
Oh, sure.
What's that all about?
Girl Power Fridays is very similar to the Healthy Lifestyles program that I mentioned earlier, the Girl Power program, but it's provided in the context of a school environment. So we're providing girls the opportunity to come together and to learn about health issues that are specific to girls and young women. Okay. We oftentimes will educate girls on puberty and hygiene, on breast health awareness during the month of October, and other issues that are really important for women to know as they grow older.
Okay. These programs that you have, and everyone, are gender specific towards girls and young women. Is there any opportunities for young men to be involved at this point?
We do, especially within the youth programming. We work both with male and female volunteers through our programs, and so we are able to integrate at a leadership level men and young men in our programs. We also serve in the Health Bridge program both men and women, and so young men and young women, and so we're really trying to cultivate the opportunity in that program for the sexes to learn from each other and the expectations in terms of what adult relationships are like.
What are some of the benefits that you see coming directly from your programs?
Oh, it's really amazing. I enjoy my job so much. I've been in this position now for 3 years, and I have had students that I've watched grow from 4th graders to 7th graders, and it's such a beautiful experience to know that they have somebody to come to and share, you know, the trials and tribulations of growing up. I think there's several stories that really stand out in my mind, but just this last year we had a girl who was in our Girl Power program, and she was in our program for 2 years. I met her when she was in 5th grade, and about 3 days into the Girl Power program she came to me and she said, you know, Miss Jennifer, I was just diagnosed as having diabetes, and my grandmother is diabetic and my mom's diabetic, and she had developed the disease just in the last year or so, and she said, you know, I'm really worried because she saw how it had affected her grandmother's life, and through the program as well as through some of the encouragement that we provided her to get involved with her medical care, she came back, and it was about 2 years later that she came back and she said, you know, I'm not even taking medication anymore, because she had figured out lifestyle changes that enabled her to really control you know, her health circumstances.
Right.
And those experiences are so powerful, to be able to see somebody say, you know, I feel like I've regained a sense of control and that I know how to take care of myself. And the hope is that that will continue with each individual that we serve throughout their lifetime.
Wow. So what grade level do you start at?
Each of our programs is different in terms of the target population, so to speak, but we serve girls ages 9 to 18 through our Girls and Youth Development programs.
Okay. How can families find out, and in the community, find out more about your programs specific for the girls, Girl Power and Girl Fridays and all these? Well, how can they find out more about that?
Sure. Well, there's several different ways to get in contact or involved in our programs. We have families can certainly contact us at the YWCA, as well as us being a contact with schools. Oftentimes, schools or communities are contacting us on behalf of the students or residents that they're working with. So if you feel like a program that we've talked about today might be a good fit for your community, you could certainly encourage somebody to make contact with us and see if that would be a good fit.
Okay. You talked about how much you loved your job. Is it working with the kids? Is it the experiences that they've shared with you? What is it about your job that you love so much that you can share
I
with
would
us?
say really it's a combination of those things. I've worked with youth my whole life, and my whole professional life, as well as previously as a volunteer. And so I think that there's something very captivating to being able to be a mentor for youth. But I've also learned so much about the community through the stories and through the experiences that the girls share with me. And so I feel very invested in this community and the safety of the community and the experiences and the challenges that our youth are facing. So I think it's a combination of those relationships, and then it's fun. I get to play quite a lot, and that's nice.
Have you had any disappointments with any of the girls in the program?
I've had some hardships. There have been some students that have experienced some really hard experiences, physical safety issues, things like that, and that's been very, very challenging for me. But in terms of the individual students, I wouldn't say that there's any disappointments. I would say that the only disappointment that I might feel is just not being able to reach out to as many communities as we know are interested in the types of programs that we're able to provide.
Have you shared any personal stories? I mean, do you share your stories with the girls as well?
I think it's really important in terms of their ability to understand who I am and where my sense of caring for them comes from, to share a little bit about my upbringing. And I grew up internationally, and I think that that's something that some of our community members here, especially in Kansas City, Kansas, can identify with, is having family members who are in other countries or having you know, come to this area recently, being a new student, that kind of thing. So there are some ways that I'm able to share with them some of the things that I've lived through, and I think that we can connect around those things.
Wonderful. Chris, I'm sure you have success stories as well with the women that have been in the Why Women Can program. Anything particular, real quick?
Well, I'll make it very quick and kind of general, because yes, indeed, we have several that come to mind. I think one of the most interesting phenomena, though, is that the women who have gone into training, who have gotten into green jobs or non-traditional careers, have then become mentors and stayed with the program to encourage other women. And we have what we call a green networking meeting once a month for mentors come, as well as women who are still seeking jobs. Maybe they've had training and they haven't found the job yet. And they share resources. And everybody always leaves there with such a good feeling. So I think that's one of the things I'm proudest of.
Okay. Thank you, ladies, for being with us today. And I also thank Lisa, who was on earlier. And we're looking for good things to come out of YWCA.
Thank you very much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
On behalf of Kansas City, Kansas Community College Media Services, we thank you for joining us today and enlightening us about the wonderful programs at the YWCA. As it states in your formal mission statement, the YWCA is dedicated to eliminating racism, empowering women, and promoting peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. And we thank you for that. We also thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time on Conversations.